We'll talk about designing profitable games and focusing on increasing RV and IAP rates on hyper-casual. This is Abdurrahman from Rotatelab, by the way, and hello from another universe. Hello from another universe. Not exactly from another universe, but we are actually a little bit far from here, from Gaziantep, the city that it is famous with its baklava, you know, and most delicious foods also. It's located the southeastern side of the Turkey. We develop, as you know, hyper-casual mobile games. And I'll tell you a story today. I'll start with the story. Once upon a time, in times of prosperity and abundance, hundreds of studios were developing thousands of hyper-casual games, and most of these games were scaling. The games were being monetized with interstitial ad and banner ads, and were reaching its ROAS at day zero, and were making good money for their studios. The industry was so dynamic that when a social media trend occurs, the studios were immediately turning this trend into a game, and publishers were scaling those games very quickly. Players who even do not play mobile games a lot, as soon as they see the gamified ads of the social media trend, I don't know, you can see the slapping things. Without any hesitation, they were downloading those games, which should even be considered as a game. After players were playing these games for 1 or 2 days and were making studios earn money from the interstitials and banners, they were deleting the games and keep downloading new games after. At that time, eCPMs, I'm talking about the second half of 2021, eCPMs of interstitials were not like that, of course. It was making studios earn much more money than these times rewarded ads. And IAP, what was the need? Studios wouldn't even put any IAP options or no ads options in most games. In top charts, almost 10 out of 10 games were hyper-casual. But now it's like one game. The overall strategy was based on low CPI, low LTV, high scale. Publishers were buying as many as players they could in their games. There was too many games that has been downloaded 50 million or more. The money players earn in the game were being spent on just the cosmetics, and no player were bothered about this situation. Sometimes players were even watching rewarded ads for getting one hat for their characters to make their characters look better. Oh, those aunts, the aunts who couldn't go out due to pandemic. Oh, those teens and toddlers who play hyper-casual games all day long because they are bored at home. What about clubbers? Since none of them could go to parties anymore, they would have to stay at home, play a lot of hyper-casual games, and continue their lives happily after with the satisfaction of having accomplished something. There was also a lot of money, of course. No country was experiencing a financial crisis. Players could spend even more money on games because they couldn't spend money on other things. What happened next? The pandemic was over, but a storm had begun. What a devastating storm that was. Players who weren't real players actually, who were bored at home, started to taste freedom again. They went out, they traveled, they partied, they had a lot of fun. How can you expect people who don't even want to go home to play hyper-casual games? They missed out so much to be free again. Like Turkish writer Yaşar Kemal said, those beautiful people got on those beautiful horses and left. The sector was left alone with the real gamers, and it's hard to satisfy them. Of course, on the other hand, the financial crisis had begun in many countries. Players have started to save their money instead of spending it like there's no tomorrow. While UA costs weren't decreasing that much, eCPMs have dropped as they fell, like you see here. And banner ads and interstitial ads were not as profitable as it used to be. Publisher deals of hyper-casual studios were dropped one by one. Many studios had closed or were on the verge of closing. Hyper-casual industry was having a big short. Low CPI, high-scale strategy crashed. Some studios have changed the genre. Some studios have moved onto the PC, console games, or Web3 games. Studios were falling apart one by one. Hundreds of tearful developers, designers, and artists were left behind. Okay, in Abdurrahman today, we'll talk about what can we do in this situation. If interstitial and banner ad monetization strategy over, RV and IAP strategy is here now. If hyper-casual is over, deeper casual is here now. If high-scale, low CPI strategy is over, low-scale, high LTV strategy is here now. Let's talk a little bit about how to do this. Okay, let's be honest. At first, we still need to talk about high-scale, low CPI strategy because this is the core of the hyper-casual business, as you know. This is something that we try to find, we have to try to find still, but it is now really hard to find, as you know. For long-term retention, we don't need to have, we need to have to lay on strong core mechanics in order to create deeper gameplay experience. You can see second node. And the third thing, which we'll talk detail on next slide, is how to create that deeper game loop. Fourth thing is how we are taking that deeper game loop more in engagement and converting it to rewarded videos and in-app purchases monetization. Two main reasons for that, by the way. First one is that simply you will get 2 or 3 times higher revenue for each of impressions comparing to interstitial or the other things. And the second thing is that rewarded videos are proven to increase engagement. This is proven, by the way. Okay, so we can, how can we create RV motivation and RV engagement? I think first thing is to make sure that we have a long-term, we have to have long-term goal, because in order to create this RV engagement and RV motivation, we need to have users for a longer time. We cannot monetize users with rewarded videos if they are staying in the game 1 or 2 days. So we need users to stay in the game more. The second thing is that we need to create challenge or skill. This is something that's super important in order to create a reason for users to watch rewarded video. The third thing is a meaningful economy, which means that we need to focus and create the right experience with the right balance and the right difficulty curve in all aspects in order to make the user feel that is the solution. I need to watch rewarded video, or I need to pay this game. I need to purchase something from that game. So lastly, next thing is the progression and meta. This is one of the main aspects that will make users stay in the game for a long term. It's more related for gameplay, but it's also great that you can monetize and keep as part of the economy of the game. And lastly, how we actually going to monetize and how we are planning to implement those rewarded videos and in-app purchases strategy, monetization strategy inside, and we'll talk about that. Okay, we can see here's the main elements of deeper game loop. Obviously, it's changed for different games, different type of games, but we can think it's a general idea of deeper game loop. We need to start from the main goal, as you see there, and think what action we are doing in order to approach to the main goal. We can fight, we can run, we can solve, so it's kind of a good fit for any type of gameplay, by the way. Then we are getting the reward, as you see there, we are getting the reward, and we are evolving ourselves, our skills, and we are reaching the main goal again. This is the core game loop. We need to think that we are approaching a classical hyper-casual game. I need to say something. Retention and playtime alone is no longer enough for the lifetime value calculation. We should convert retention and playtime to LTV. Let us discuss these two examples. Both games started with 50% day one retention, as you see there. And what we can see here is you may get 2 times higher RPU at day 0 if you are able to make players watch more RVs with the same in-game metrics, as you see there. Okay, retention and playtime and CPI plus RV engagement rate. We need to keep in mind that rewarded engagement rate is important as CPI, playtime, and retention. And we have some tips and tricks for deeper experience and deeper monetization strategies. We offer you to focus on target experience more. We need to empower our core mechanic. When we are ideating, when we are merging ideas, when we are reconcepting abstraction, we need to focus the target experience, because player experiencing this target experience too many times in the game, so we need to focus on that. Monetization should talk with the design. People don't like bullying. If they're going to do something, they have to make sure they do it just because they want it. At least they should feel it that way. Not because it's their only option. They have to say, I need to watch this rewarded. The rewarded that you make players watch should have been watched because they want, not because they have to. This is why it's very important to play and deconstruct examples of successful games has monetization talks with the design on ideation phase. Replayability, when players see that different decisions that they make in the game produce different results, they may want to experience many different decisions. As you may see from Bump Pop and Bloku Doku, it's impossible to experience the same scenario more than once. This also increases playtime and provides retention. It's good for health. Sandboxing also increase the number of decisions in the game as much as you can. They should have so few limits in the game that they shouldn't even know that they have passed the level while playing, as you may experience it these games. Sid Meier says, a game is a series of interesting choices. You can really see that on that games. An economy design we can offer. Find the sweet spot. I actually talk about that in previous slides. Economy design, find the sweet spot between earning too much and saving too much. No one wants to leave their job that think they earn what they deserve. So we need to focus on that. Give player his due. Don't make him work like a slave. Otherwise, one day they will leave and you will miss them. Second currency you can offer in your game. If you want to make your game a little bit deeper, add one or more currencies. These currencies should be hard to earn, and players should even upgrade some of the game play with only these currencies in deeper layer. And also, you should empower the core, like I mentioned in previous slides. Since the user is experiencing the core of the game quite frequently, let them have better experience throughout the gameplay. Bu değişti. Okay, I don't need to stay there. Okay, providing variations also. We can offer you to think about while producing your game. Changing the toy and making it go the same goal with a different feeling. You can see a positive effect of providing different kinds of turrets and enemies in Fight for America. I don't know that you played this or not. Basically, it adds different way of interacting with the game while keeping the goal as the same, just killing the enemies. And lastly, we insist you to think about the good execution, because the sector left with the gamers that you saw in the previous slides. They expect more juicy games after the pandemic. So good execution hooks the players deeper into the game. Why settle for less when players can get a much better game feel? You need to focus on that on the production phase also. We offer. By the way, we insist you to watch this Juice It or Lose It by Martin Jonasson. We put the link here. We really inspired from this video. Okay, that's all, folks. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I may answer. And we will be very happy if you follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram if you're using. Thank you so much.